Hi folks, I want to recommend a book to read, a resource to go and get the book and read it. It's a very good academic work. It's called Galileo Goes to Jail and Other Myths About Science and Religion. Editor Ronald L. Numbers, and there are a number of scholars who write in the book. So that's Galileo Goes to Jail and Other Myths About Science and Religion by Ronald Numbers, and I'll link to the book. Basically, the book deals with about 25 myths. Those various myths are as follows. Um, Deals with the rise of myth number one: the rise of Christianity was responsible for the demise of ancient science. Myth number two: the medieval Christian church suppressed the growth of science, etc. Myth number six: Copernicism demoted humans from the center of the cosmos. Myth 7: Giordano Bruno was the first martyr of modern science. Myth 17: Huxley defeated Wilberforce in the debate over evolution and religion. The strength of the work is specifically in its understanding of history. Many of the contributors really defend Christianity well in the area of history, looking at the medieval times. For example, it's often thought that the medieval mind believed that the earth was flat, but actually that's a 19th century projection onto medieval thinking. So that was 19th century historians reading their ideas of what they thought the Middle Ages believed, and impose their idea on the interpretation of medieval history. But factually that's not the case, as the book goes into. There are some issues concerning evolution. There were one or two articles that as creationists we wouldn't be happy with, we wouldn't agree with. But generally speaking, it's a very informative book, a very helpful book, especially in the area of religion and science, and showing how exploding a lot of myths that are being pumped around on the internet by skeptics and by Christians as well. And it explores those myths, and you're able to look at things in a much more deeper way. I'm not saying I agree with everything in the book, but it's a very interesting book, very helpful and informative book if you want to talk about the interpretation of history and how it relates to science and religion. Because there are these scientific, religious, historical scenarios that skeptics will bring up, like, oh, the church was dissing on Galileo, or the church was holding back science in the Middle Ages, and all the rest. And these are myths. They're myths by creationists about and skeptics about the debate between Wilberforce and Huxley and things like that. And so it's a good book to go back. It goes back to these historical myths that have been concocted for today and have been projected into today and are being pushed around the internet, and it goes back and it looks at these and explores these myths and expands the historical detail that you need to understand these issues better. So I'll link to the book, and please feel free to get hold of it and read it. I'm sure you'll find it a blessing.